WYSL stations present an hour of truth for the battered but proud people of the Empire State. From the financial and entertainment epicenter of New York City to the sleeping and empty small cities and towns of upstate, which once bustled with manufacturing, mining, and farming. We all know from inspiration, history, and nature, we deserve a return to the success and growth of generations past, a birthright being squandered by corruption in Albany, and the depredations of an insecure, scheming mountebank posing as governor, who loathes both us and himself. As liberty beckoned to enslaved peoples behind the Iron Curtain via American broadcasts after World War II, we now say, believe, rise, and join us. Welcome to Radio Free New York.
Hey guys, welcome to Radio Free New York. I'm your host, Andrew Hollister, and I'm here in the WYSL studio with Bob Savage.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Friday.
Yeah, it's Friday. Very excited for the weekend. The weather's looking nice out there. So
I can't believe this late summer weather's been fantastic. This is like the summer that never arrived, at least until July.
Until July. Yeah. No, it's looking great out there. So very excited. I'm gonna hopefully do some yard work today. So we'll see if I get to it or not. I ended up working pretty late last night. I think I wrapped up around 11:45. So
that's late.
Yeah, late night.
I'm in my jammies long before that.
Yeah, yep. So I just want to give you guys real quick before we dive into the meat and potatoes of this show here. I'll tell you guys a little bit about what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about some upcoming events, a little bit about vaping, and then two things that you guys told me were really important yesterday. And I'll give you guys a little bit of hint. 26,000 students in New York State being displaced from public school systems. So we're going to talk about that coming up. But before we do, I just want to remind you guys, check out the Facebook page, Andrew C. Hollister. Go to YouTube, Andrew C. Hollister. Make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you follow the page. That way you guys get notified when I go live. Last show, I thought we were live on LinkedIn. We're not yet live on LinkedIn. It's still in beta, so we had to put in another application, and we're waiting to hear back. So maybe we get on LinkedIn, maybe we don't. It would be really cool if we did.
So run down the platforms we're on again.
So we are on Facebook, we are on YouTube, and we are on Twitter and Periscope, and hopefully maybe LinkedIn in the very near future. We'll see. And I do have the chat software fired up and running. So I don't know if you guys know, with the last update, I can't see your guys' names anymore unless you actually comment in the feed. So if you just comment in the feed, hey, Andrew, I'm here, I'll see that you're there. I'll give you a shout out on the show. I see Dan and Tom are already jumping in and putting some comments in there, and so is Chris. So guys, thank you so much for joining me. And Tom's got a comment just right off the bat saying King Andrew is forcing small businesses to shut down because of his BS flavored vaping ban, and we are absolutely going to be talking about that. So first and foremost, though, let's talk about some events. Tomorrow morning, 8:30 in front of the Canandaigua Courthouse. I will be there with Larry Sharp. We have a cool announcement for you guys. So definitely check the live streams for it. Also, if you can be there in person, even better. It's going to be a short event. I think probably 15 minutes, half an hour, nothing crazy. I don't expect there to be any long form as usual. Just a cool press release, nice announcement. Come join us there if you can. If not, make sure you catch the live stream for that.
Time again on that?
8:30 in the morning in front of the Canandaigua Courthouse.
Whoa, that's early.
Yeah, and I'm going to be coming from Charlotte, so that's going to be. I don't know where Larry's coming from.
It'll be dark when you leave.
Not like New York City, but yeah. So we're going to do that. It's going to be an exciting update for you guys. the next important event that you guys need to know about is actually already happening, and that is today's Area 51 Day.
Yeah, right. So, we've been talking about it.
Yep. So Area 51, for those of you who are wondering what is Area 51 Day, I think this might turn into like one of those fake holidays that people celebrate every day or every year, kind of like 420. You know, the 420 people celebrate 420. Right. Yeah. I think this is going to become Area 51 Day. For those of you who don't know what Area 51 Day is, this was a joke that went out on social media like months ago. I don't even know how long it's been. And it was a fake event called Let's Storm Area 51. And the thing that's crazy is, and this is, 2019 people in the United States of America, people are like, oh my God, they're serious. I'm going to go too. So all these people, I think it got up to like 750,000 people saying that they were going to go to this event.
Saying they would go.
Yeah. I mean, like big names like, Chuck Norris, Keanu Reeves, they jumped on tweeting about it and stuff. And like, just like crazy stuff. And the thing is, some people actually thought this was real, and they got really angry about it. And, the
military did.
Well, the military, but more so people that didn't understand that this is like an internet joke. So you've got like parents who are just really, really angry, thinking like their child is like going to see this on the news and go storm Area 51 and die, and it's like, no, this is a joke, and
meanwhile, the military's cautioning everybody, don't do this,
and the military
don't try it.
And then as people started beginning to believe that it was real, even though it was just clearly a joke, then the military is like, well, now that people think it's real, now we have to say something about it. It just snowballed into this kind of crazy, humorous, but also like painful to see that this is actually happening. Like we're now at this point. So it's interesting. I watched some footage from the area. It looks like there's a whopping 2 people there right now. This morning, I guess there's maybe like 100 people or something. And I think maybe 2 or 3 people got arrested trying to climb the gate or climb under the gate. But I think probably there's one thing that's cool. They're kind of making like a Woodstock out of it. So they've got, I forget what they call it. They're calling it, I'll look it up for you guys, but there's going to be like, I guess, bands playing tonight and like a get together, like at some place nearby. People are going to camp out.
Any excuse for a party. I thought I saw reports to the effect that there are no hotel rooms within 100-mile radius.
Yeah. So I think it's just going to be like a big party tonight, which is probably good for tourism in the area, but give their economy a little boost. But I saw something I'm going to share with you guys. If you're listening on the radio, I'm sorry, I can't project video over the radio, so you'll have to check the live stream later. But I've got a nice little video to share with you guys. There's no audio of a news report, and one of the memes that came out of this was, if we Naruto run, we can run faster than their bullets and they'll never get us. So while somebody's doing an interview here today, this happened today, somebody like Naruto runs behind the reporter. So I'm just going to play that for you guys. So talking through it, you kind of see like the porta potties are set up. There's people setting up the stage, and here's the reporter guy just runs right behind the reporter. Very entertaining.
Some zany hipster.
Yep. So a good time going on down there at Area 51.
Area 51.
Today.
That's right. So
yeah, absolutely. So that's the fun stuff. I'm going to talk a little bit more about vaping. I know that was probably most, if not, a good chunk of Monday's show. We talked about some other stuff. But I wanted to hit it again because, if Schumer and Cuomo both agree with you, you're probably doing something wrong. That's like... That's my...
It's Schumer and Trump, isn't it?
Well, Schumer, Trump, and Cuomo, all 3 of them are agreeing with each other. So
now the world is coming to an end.
Never did I think I'd see that day, right? So we had the 3 of them agreeing with each other
about flavored vaping stuff.
Yeah. And I guess, I can't say that I don't believe it, because with Trump and the bump stocks, Cuomo with literally everything under the sun, and Schumer is just kind of like, a flap in the wind. I guess I'm not surprised.
What is this thing with banning everything? I got to ban this, ban that. You got to ban stretch limos. You got to ban vaping juice.
Yeah.
I mean, how about people just taking responsibility for their own lives?
Yeah, I'm just now like thinking that we're going to have to come up with a game, and it'll be kind of like, the board's like a bingo board, right? And you put all the good things in the world on this bingo board. And as they ban it, you get to cross off your square. And we're just going to see, who wins. I mean, it's insane what we're doing here.
Let's do a drinking game. That's even more fun.
Yeah. Just put a shot on each square, and it's just not good.
Every time the word is ban is used by a politician, you get to take a shot.
Well, yeah, we'll all be in the hospital with alcohol poisoning by the end of the night. So
it'll take half an hour.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break here. When we come back, we're going to wrap up the discussion on vaping and then talk about some other fun stuff right here on Radio Free New York.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
Nope.
A reminder from Abate Monroe County. American bikers aim toward education. Distracted driving is dangerous.
Possibly.
Pull over and eat. Don't try to read your mail and newspaper, and stay off your cell phone. Make a mental note to be more alert, making it a habit to expect the unexpected. Remember to look twice. Save a life. Train yourself to watch for motorcycles which are harder to see. Join Abate, and your family will be protected with a free $4,000 accident policy. Ride safe. Ride free. Ride often. Abate. If you ride, ride with us. Google Abate Monroe County.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix Space to Simple Tech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that Simple Tech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at Simple Tech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at Simple Tech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
You're listening to Radio Free New York on the WYSL stations.
All right. Welcome back to Radio Free New York. We are talking about things being banned. Banned. That just seems to be the popular thing to do, or really the unpopular thing to do, but people are doing it anyways. And I'm actually wearing my Don't Blame Me, I Voted Larry Sharpe shirt today. And I'm just going to say the rest of the stuff we talk about on the show, had the majority of New Yorkers voted for Larry Sharpe, we wouldn't be in this situation. So I'm just throwing that out there. So talking about vaping and talking specifically about the 90-day flavor ban that Cuomo has put on New York. Trump's talking about it, making it nationwide. Schumer's saying, guys, I love you. This is a great idea. Not a good situation at all. And I'll tell you what, do you guys remember when the SAFE Act was passed? You guys remember when that happened and gun owners and gun shops and also, people at home, manufacturers, everybody started coming up with loopholes around the SAFE Act. You say I can't own this. Well, if I make this modification, now I'm in compliance with the law. I don't have to register my firearm. Gun owners don't like talking about that. They're worried that people are going to find out that that's a thing. But the fact is, it is a thing, and I'm a firearm owner, and I think that more people should just see and know that regulation does not work. Period. It does not work.
No, people find a way.
Every single time they'll find a way. Guess what? Same thing's going to happen with vape. And I can tell you it's already happening because I joined a couple vape groups on social media because I want to support them and say, yeah, you know what? Your right to put in your body what you want is your right and your choice. So I joined some of the groups, and I tell you what, people are already asking what I would say the right questions to get around the wrong law, or a bad law. And they're asking questions like, well, can we just sell vape juice, unflavored vape juice, and then sell flavor packets separately? And my guess is that you can. And that will be one way to get around it. Other people have already started making their own flavored vape in their garage, in their basement. It didn't take not even 24 hours before this started happening. Guys,
I'm surprised it took that long.
Yeah, not even 24 hours. It's already happening.
As I said on a previous show, I've got my radio laser pointer out here, so pointing at the imaginary whiteboard that you can't see. And it's pointing at 18th Amendment, ladies and gentlemen. The little thing called prohibition. How'd that work out?
It didn't work.
No.
Didn't work. In fact, I would venture to say that after that, the alcohol industry came back stronger than ever, after prohibition. So, this isn't going to work. It's not going to make people safer. Actually, it will make people unsafer because people will now go to unsafe places to get the flavors they want. And that's what's going to happen. So I've got two last points before we move on from vaping. And the first is, and I don't know if you guys know this or not, but there are flavored tobacco products out there. There are vanilla flavored, strawberry flavored, raspberry flavored, tobacco products out there on the market. If this was really about safety, if it was really about people's health, if it was really about caring for people, wouldn't those have been banned as well?
Ban everything. You're absolutely right. Just ban it.
Just ban it all.
Listen, go to the liquor store. How many different flavored liquors are there?
Oh, absolutely.
You've got
chocolate.
You've got
strawberry. Everything.
How many different vodkas are there? There's blueberry. There's blood orange. There's cranberry. There's grapefruit. There's different flavored whiskeys.
Sure. Yep. Actually, what is it? 3 Olives. 3 Olives makes a Mountain Dew flavored. I think it's a vodka. I'm not sure. They make a raspberry lemonade flavored, a Fruit Loops flavor.
I'm not sure I want olive flavored vodka, but in any case, I mean, look. Here's the thing: the younger demographics, lower demographics, like flavors.
Sure.
They like so. I mean, they're not like me, where it's give me some red or brown liquor, and a shot glass. But they like the additional flavors that are added in. And that's just part of the youth market. So, of course, it's going to find its way into vaping. And by the way, vaping is not an unmitigated health disaster for people because vaping has really helped a lot of people stop smoking.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. I know a lot of people that said for years they've tried to stop smoking, for years. And vaping was the first thing that helped them out. And some of those people say they now only vape once or twice a week. So and they were blowing through like 2 packs a day. So, you look at that and you go, listen, you've already got the right or should have the right to put whatever you want in your body, as long as you know what it is you're putting in there, and you know up front what the risks are. Even if you didn't, you have the right to do what you want, but ideally you would know what the risks are in advance. But then you say, and this is helping people, and you're trying to take that away too. I've got big issues with it. The second thing I saw yesterday in a report is that New York State has lost $97 million in tobacco tax revenue. $97 million.
Because of the black market.
Well, black market, and supposedly because of vape products, because vape products are cutting so deeply into cigarette use. Now, I don't know if that's 100% true or not, but it's something that is worth looking at and saying, what are the motivations truly behind this? Because clearly it's not health. And I would be willing to bet, if you look at the history of the Cuomo administration, if you look at the history of New York State corrupt politicians, that there are donors involved and tax revenue involved, and they're missing out on that, and that's why this is happening.
And it's also control, because,
Sure.
as we all know, Andrew Cuomo is a total control freak.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. So checking the comments real quick, Juliana asked, did we talk about New York religious exemptions yet?
Oh, boy.
And Juliana is getting ahead of the
Head of the curve.
ahead of the show here. She's got it figured out. So last night, I posted on the Facebook page, the Andrew C. Hollister Facebook page, and I said, guys, what's going on right now in New York State that should be being talked about, that should be on mainstream media, that should be, pushed to the top, that isn't being talked about, that's being swept under the rug? And hundreds and hundreds of comments roll in. Almost every single one of them was the same comment. And that was that this week, the religious exemption has been officially removed for students going to school, which has displaced about 26,000 students in New York State that can't go to school, essentially, because of this. Public school. Not just public school. Well, this number is for public school, but the law also applies to daycare and private school. I have no idea what those numbers are. So this is just 26,000 students impacted by public schools. Who knows what the numbers are with private schools and daycare? Who knows if the private schools are actually enforcing it or not? I don't know if they are. I don't know who's following up on them. I don't know how it's being tracked. And so that's the first thing that we're going to talk about. The second thing that came up nowhere near as many comments, but semi-consistently, is that voters from one city, specifically New York City, are creating law that impacts the whole state. So what we're going to talk about is it's really the same issue. I mean, they both have their separate issues, but this vaccine exemption thing has heavily been pushed by people from New York City.
Right. So why can't we have the equivalent of upstate federalism, where upstate, home rule, I think is actually the correct term for it.
Yep.
Upstate, we get to make the choices school district by school district, where we have influence over our school boards and over our school administrations. We fire the school board. We fire the administration if they don't do what we want.
Yep.
If we don't get the necessary, why does everything have to be top down and driven by impossibly left-wing agendas?
And that's just it. I mean, you look at it, and the thing that's really wrong here is that one person is making the decisions. And you can look at that from any number of things. And the fact that in upstate you don't have the same type of representation that you do downstate. And I mean, even with the vaping thing, right? Cuomo didn't put that through the Senate or the House. He just did his own thing. And that was just one man, one decision. Boom, industry destroyed.
He had no choice because he wanted to do this, and the legislature's not in the session. And the legislature's going to have to be called back in to apparently renew this. I mean, this is a temporary measure.
It's a 90-day measure.
But as we know, I mean, Cuomo's in charge of the Assembly.
Sure.
And the Senate is his lapdog, so they'll probably go along with what he wants. But I don't know, maybe not. I mean, he's running into some tough sledding here with the green light law. I don't want to get ahead of you on that if you're going to talk about that with the driver's licenses.
Oh, yeah. No, I just heard about that as I walked in today. So, but you can bring it up.
Let's talk about, we only have a couple minutes to the break, and we're talking about vaping and stuff now. We can bring that up later.
Yeah. So it's this is a serious issue for New York State, upstate and downstate. But obviously, we feel the impact the most. The idea that we're basically being ruled by some ruler from afar. That's I want to say that's what brought around the Revolutionary War. If I remember correctly, it was being ruled by somebody from afar.
Death to tyrants,
Taxation without representation, that sort of thing. So, guys, when we come back from the break, we're going to talk about this vaccine issue, these 26,000 students, and New York State kind of just doing whatever it wants across the state here. So we'll be back on Radio Free New York.
252.
You're listening to the voice of liberty.
WYSL.
AM 1040 Avon, Rochester, FM 92.1 Rochester, FM 95.5 Spencerport, and WYSL1040.com everywhere.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to Simple Tech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that Simple Tech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at Simple Tech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at Simple Tech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
Aircraft Environmental Systems proudly supports Radio Free New York. Rochester-based leaders in climate simulation chambers for America's R&D laboratories. We're experts in troubleshooting, calibrations, custom designs, and consulting for more than 40 years. Industry pioneers, we created the first ever fleet of temperature, humidity, and altitude test chambers available to rent coast to coast. Trained and trusted by environmental chamber manufacturers, we are ACES. Find us at acesinc.com.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
Radio Free New York on WYSL. AM 1040, FM 92.1, and FM 95.5 West.
All right. Welcome back to Radio Free New York. I'm your host, Andrew Hollister. We are talking about the 26,000 students being displaced by removing the religious exemption for vaccines in not just public schools, but private schools, daycares, just all over. If you want to get an idea of the content of that bill, you guys can hop over on YouTube, search Andrew C. Hollister, go to episode 74. It's called New York Eliminates Religious Vaccine Exemption. We literally read the law to you guys. We talk about it, comment on it. So if you're wondering what this is, I think we literally read the law right there on that, and I think we talked about what was crossed out of it. A small change to the law, really. I think they just eliminated a few lines, but obviously it has big repercussions now because there's a lot of students that can't go to school. So that's an issue that's obviously weighing very heavily on people. Like I said, over 200 comments just from last night. I don't even remember when I posted it, of people really, really concerned about this issue. Now, I went to just kind of look at when things were supposed to go live, and lo and behold, I get served up an advertisement from New York State as a public service announcement, and I actually found it here. We're going to go ahead and play it so you guys can hear it. I think it's 30 seconds long.
30 seconds, yep. Here we go.
Attention parents. All kids going to public, private, and religious schools, pre-K and daycare, must get all required vaccinations unless they have a valid medical exemption. Vaccines are safe and effective and the best protection from serious diseases like measles, mumps, and whooping cough. Children who are not vaccinated may not be allowed to attend school. Find out about important vaccination deadlines. Talk to your healthcare provider and visit health.ny.gov/schoolvaccines.
And of course, your healthcare provider is thoroughly indoctrinated and on board, and is doing what the state tells them to do. So they'll say, "Oh yeah, they're completely safe. Yep, no problems."
Yeah, and I think that in general, many vaccines probably are. And I'm no doctor, but there's questionable stuff too. How some of the things like the flu, for example, there's not a lot of time for testing. There really isn't.
Well, and also the flu vaccines they tend to be somewhat limited in efficacy because, and that's no fault of the pharmaceutical industry or the medical profession. It's just because of the nature of flu.
Sure.
Because what they have to do is they have to be these soothsayers. They have to kind of predict, okay, what's this year's, what's the over under on what this year's flu virus is going to look like?
Yep.
And they miss the mark.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And so you can say that vaccines could be generally safe. I haven't seen any research that has truly pointed towards, like, the big thing that people bring up all the time is that vaccines have been linked to autism, which did actually happen, but the study was done incorrectly. So I want to make sure people know this. You can research it, or if you check out the religious vaccine exemption episode, I think we talked about it somewhat in depth about there was a study that linked autism to vaccines. I forget which vaccine it was. And I think their sample size was like 12 or something like that. It was really small. These kids were already at risk. They could never replicate the study. It ended up being like, the community said, listen, this wasn't done right. We can't replicate it. So I understand there is some bad information out there. There may be other information too, where, realistically, with a population of any size, you could have something that is perfectly fine for a vast majority of the population, and then others that there isn't. Just look at anything like penicillin. People are allergic to penicillin.
Right.
And then other people, it saves their life, We don't have government
saying, it doesn't matter. If you've got penicillin sensitivity, we're giving it to you anyway. Here, stick your arm out. And this is such an unnecessary controversy, too. And here's why. Oh, by the way, before we get to that, now what we've done is we've kicked this thing up a notch, because now we have, in Rochester and Monroe County, we have this student whose parents are suing BOCES too, because they wanted a medical exemption, not religious, medical exemption to the requirement for vaccines. And some, school board appointed physician said, no, you didn't follow the proper guidelines. So they've denied it. So now this lawsuit is going on. But look, what's wrong with, instead of getting into this top down, everybody has to get vaccinated, got to be vaccinated, or you have to go to, or you don't go to school. And if you don't go to school, by the way, you're subject to being found to be an unfit parent, and maybe the state can take your kids away.
Sure.
So you see, this is where this whole thing leads.
Yeah, it's always issue.
Comes down to the end of a gun, really, when you distill it all down. But how about we just have a rule that says, okay, look, if you send your kid to school when he's sick, Look out for the symptoms of measles, mumps, chickenpox, and so on and so forth. And if your kid comes to school sick, we're going to diagnose him. And if the child is sick, there's some sanction that gets applied.
Sure. Yeah, something. And especially if you're knowingly putting somebody else in danger, that I think is something that you could look at and be like, yeah, you can't knowingly put somebody else in danger.
Not for nothing. That's what we did when I was a kid. No. Everybody went through the childhood diseases, mumps, measles, chickenpox, all that, and you just kept your kids home.
Sure. Yeah. So I think that this issue, I think a lot of people are upset with this issue over it being religion. The religious exemption that's being removed, and
also the government force.
That's my issue with it, because it extends beyond religion. If you could take religion out and replace it with anything else, it's still a problem. So my issue is this: you should have the right, as a child or a parent, to have choice in what is or is not injected into your body. I think that that's extremely reasonable. And if we weren't talking about vaccines, I think the majority of people would agree that, if the government said you have to start injecting heroin, a bunch of people would be like, oh, no, I don't think that's safe, But because it's vaccines, I think people start to apply different rules to the situation. So that's the first thing is I don't think that you should ever be required to put something in your body that you don't trust, even if that trust is maybe unfounded. If that's your belief, if that's what you truly believe, you shouldn't have it forced on you. So that's the first thing. But the second thing is we also have to think about, do you have the right to potentially get somebody else sick? And I think that that's where this issue is not a simple yes or no issue, because you've got two, kind of fundamental issues on each side. One is, not putting something in your body, but then the other is potentially knowingly getting somebody else sick, which you addressed. So those two things are a problem.
But there's another dimension to this that we haven't talked about, and that is some of these vaccines are given in clusters to some of these kids, and they are and the kids suffer deleterious health effects from it. No. Now there's a division of opinion about this, of course, and so. But I mean, it used to be that we used to get. I don't know, maybe a dozen, if you maybe 15, I suppose, of various different vaccinations, including the Salk or Sabin polio vaccines when we were kids, which were regarded as miraculous when I was a child, because they were brand new and it was like a whole new world for people. But now these kids are getting 70, 80, 90 vaccinations against all kinds of stuff. Some of which is controversial, like the Gardasil vaccines.
Yeah.
So why, where do you draw the line? I mean, and it's a slippery slope kind of thing. And some kids have had bad reactions to these multiple vaccines.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, there have been cases of seizures. There have been cases of all sorts of things. So that parents who are afraid of vaccinating their children, there is still reason to be concerned about that. Whether or not their child is in high risk or not, that's something I wouldn't know. Maybe they wouldn't either. Their doctor is hopefully going to guide them to the right decision, assuming that the doctor isn't just pushing drugs. Because I think that's a big issue we have in healthcare today is doctors now, a lot of them are pushing drugs, whether it's vaccines or pharmaceuticals or opioids, whatever it is.
That's how we got the OxyContin problem.
Yeah. So you have to have trust in your doctor and have belief in your doctor, believe that this is actually what you should be putting in your body or your child's body or not. So it does create just an issue, which clearly we're going through. So one of the things that I think is definitely an overstep on government is the fact that they've stepped into the private schools as well. I think that is a big issue, because I could see government saying, to walk through this doorway, you need this. I know that we talk about doing this for the country. I don't know that whether or not it's happening, but when people come to cross the border, you're supposed to meet a certain level of, immunization and stuff before you come into the country. And I think a lot of people think that, I want to know that people coming into the country have certain immunizations, and that makes us feel safe. So I could see an argument for saying the same could be valid for public schools.
Well, here's another problem too, and that is there's a certain unrealistic nature to some of these expectations for these vaccines. Look, kids do not live in a vacuum. Kids go other places. They don't just go to school. They go to McDonald's. They go to the public library. They go to music lessons. Some of which are congregate, more than one kid. The kids have siblings.
Yeah,
the siblings go to school.
Yep.
The siblings are exposed. So it all comes back to, why don't you just keep your kid at home? Vaccines are not a 100%, impermeable raincoat that prevents any kind of infection. Yeah,
and that's true. And some are very effective, and then some are 30%, 50%. So absolutely. But my thing is, a private school and a private school board is probably made up of the parents who have stepped outside of the public health system, stepped outside of the tax system, if you will, put their money into the education system that they believe is right for their children and their family. And I don't think that the state should have any right to tell those people who have already said no to public education, even though they're still paying for it, to say, this is how you'll run your school, whether you believe in this or not. I think that's an issue. So we'll talk a little bit more about that when we come back from the break. I see there's so many comments. My screen is just flickering. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to read them all through the break or not, but I'm going to give it a try and give you guys some comments when I get back.
Radio Free New York.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
Fiorella, a family-owned farm-to-table Italian restaurant with casual atmosphere at the newly renovated Rochester Public Market. Fiorella offers wood-fired, old-world-style pizza with naturally leavened dough, house-made fresh pasta, desserts, and gelato. Enjoy craft beers, imported Italian and New York State wines. Open Wednesday through Saturday for lunch and dinner. Wednesday evenings enjoy no corkage fee, and Thursday is gnocchi night. Call 434-5705 for reservations. View the menu on the web, restaurantfiorella.com.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to Simple Tech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that Simple Tech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at Simple Tech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at Simple Tech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
You're listening to Radio Free New York on the WYSL stations.
All right, guys, we are back here on Radio Free New York. There are so many comments in here. I couldn't even get through like half a scroll here, and they keep rolling in. So let's talk about, because I see there's a lot of people, they're getting upset because
it's an emotional issue.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And there's clearly a lot of disagreement about how safe or unsafe vaccines are. And guys, I'm here to tell you, I'm not here to debate whether or not they're safe. I actually think it's your choice to believe whether or not they're safe. If you think that they are totally unsafe, and that's what you believe, that's the research you've looked at. I'm not saying that I've read all the research. I'm saying what I've seen, it seems that, I've had quite a few of these vaccines. I'm doing okay. My body is different than your body, different than the body of your child. I shouldn't be making that decision for you. The New York State legislative body should not make that decision for you. You should make that decision for you and your child. So that's what I have as an issue with this law. Now, will I vaccinate my children? I probably will, unless something changes and I see something that makes me feel that it is dangerous to their health, and it would be a case-by-case basis. I never blanketly approve anything, and when I have children, I'm going to do that research, and I'm going to figure out if that's right for my family or not. And what I'm saying is, I think you should have that choice too. I hope I have that choice when I get there. So I just want to clear that up, because there seems to be a lot of people arguing and fighting. And I want to talk a little bit about what I think the solution could be, not about whether or not you think they're safe or not, because I'm not qualified to tell you if they're safe or not. I'm just qualified enough to say, I think you should make the decision.
We're not going to settle that on this show today.
No, definitely not. So first and foremost, I don't think this should be a broad, sweeping state issue. I think it should be very localized, district by district, maybe school by school. And I think every parent should be able to come forward and have a say. I don't think any guy or gal should be sitting at the top and tell you how you're going to handle medicine for your family. I don't think that's right. So in terms of public schools, I think that's a parent-teacher association meeting where parents get involved, the teachers get involved, and you get together with the school board, and maybe it's just that local school or maybe that local school district, and you guys make that decision together as a community. Now, is everybody going to be in agreement? No. But you would actually have a say there. And you have a say with your neighbors and your friends and your family versus some guy in Albany who's just dictating from the top. So that's the way I see.
And for political reasons, too. I mean, look, politicians, there's no such thing as a politician who is entirely altruistic in terms of what agenda he pursues. It's always to benefit government on some level.
Oh, absolutely. There's no question about it. Especially in New York State, you better believe that anything that's coming down, somebody's funding something, somebody's doing somebody a favor, somebody's buddy got a job. I mean, it's sad that doesn't even surprise us anymore in New York. Like, there's no question about it. You know it's happening. So it's such a terrible, terrible thing. In terms of private schools, I kind of mentioned this a little bit, but private schools, they should be able to do as they wish. It is literally, the government should not be between you and the transaction of your private school. They shouldn't be between you and the education your child is getting from a private school. That's the purpose of it being a private school. It's to get government out of your children's education. And that's your opportunity to choose the education that you feel is correct for your child and your family. Now government's trying to overrule that. And what's going to happen when they start with things like vaccines and then they move to, now private schools have to have Common Core or something like that. Like, that's a dangerous precedent.
Now schools have to get involved in nutrition.
Sure.
What's going on? What are you feeding this kid? Is this kid eating properly? What does he eat at home?
Yeah.
I mean, where do you draw the line? It's a slippery slope thing.
Yeah. And I say the same thing for private daycare. If you're sending your kid to private daycare and you don't feel that vaccines are important or effective and the other parents feel the same way, there's no reason that private daycare should have to mandate it. Now, here's the thing. It goes the other way, too. You know, if kids start getting sick there, that daycare is probably going to shut down. And you might have a hard time finding a daycare that takes non-vaccinated kids. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I don't know the numbers. It could happen. Maybe it would. Maybe it wouldn't. But the market would decide. What's happening would decide, not some overreaching government official. And that's just basically it. Local control, you know. Now, one thing that I do think should happen, I really believe this, and those of you who homeschool your kids, I'm looking at you. If this exemption makes it so your kids can't attend a public or private school, I think you should get your school taxes back because you're going to be homeschooling. And I actually think homeschooling is an amazing thing. And I know some people disagree with me. They think the kids who get homeschooled, they come out dumb and socially awkward and all these things. It's really, it is not true. Not at all. I know some very highly intelligent people who are homeschooled. The kids who I meet who are homeschooled, very rarely are they not social. In fact, they're usually the ones that don't have a phone in their hand, and they're happy to meet you, see you, and have a conversation. So
listen,
subscribe to that.
The homeschool kids blow everybody else out of the water with test scores. They're consistently like in the top 1 percentile.
Sure, yeah, and that's the thing is, listen, this could be, if this was done in a slightly different way, this could have actually probably helped homeschool in New York out a lot. It may be already. I know parents are leaving the state because of this, which they're leaving the state for every other reason too. I mean, we have no shortage of reasons to leave the state. But I hope that people start thinking about homeschool and say, yeah, do I really trust government to educate my kids anyways? Is that something I really want? Or do I want kids to get educated in my home if you have the ability to? I totally understand that there are a lot of families that are both parents are working. So homeschool is not an option. Maybe you don't have the means to homeschool. I totally understand that. My parents tried to homeschool for a short period of time and then found that it just wasn't feasible for our family. We're a family of 5 kids, you know. My dad was working a lot. It wasn't going to work out. It doesn't work out for everyone. But for those of you who it does work out for and you're thinking about it, I would say go and do that, you know, and teach your kids about the Constitution. Teach them about basic finances, what it means to balance a checkbook. Teach them about credit. Teach them about home economics, you know, having a grocery list, how to shop, how to cook.
For God's sake, teach them history.
Teach them
which
history.
They're not getting in public schools, or they're getting a twisted indoctrination packed version of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Teach them the things that they should learn, how to maintain and keep a home, how to change the oil on their car. You know, all these things are things.
How to change a tire, which Beto O'Rourke apparently never got that instruction.
Absolutely. What do you do when you have a flat? You know, these are things that you will carry through life, your entire life, that a public education doesn't prepare you for. Some rare instances, I've had some people call in that say, hey, my school district, they taught the kids how to balance a checkbook. That's amazing. That's the minority of public school districts. When you homeschool, you have that opportunity. But a lot of homeschool parents say it's hard. They're paying the school taxes, and then they're paying all the homeschool supplies on top, whether it's papers, pen, ink, books.
There's lots of help. There's all kinds of help available.
Yeah. So that would be, that's my take on it. It's
not as hard as you think it is. It's hard. It's a challenge. But once you get into the groove of it, and you're not alone, because there's other homeschooling parents that form networks that can support you.
Yeah, no, there are. And Rochester specifically has a great homeschool network, if not multiple of them, where the families get together and the kids have gym class together. And sometimes that's like a karate school, or maybe they go to somewhere like Rock Ventures Rock Climb or whatever. You know, they do cool things. It's time to learn about history. Hey, do a field trip to Washington, D.C. and actually like go see all the different things in DC and learn about things there. Just, it can be a very enriching education if you have the capability to do it. So I think it's a great thing. And I hope that more and more families look at public education because of this and start questioning whether or not that's the right thing for their family and for their children, or, you know, if they should maybe move instead to homeschooling. Or, you know, private education would be good too, but this applies to private schools, so probably push them to homeschooling or push them out of the state. All right, guys. I think that's everything for today. So I hope to see you tomorrow morning in Canandaigua.
Saturday morning, folks.
Yep, Saturday morning, 8:30 in front of the Canandaigua Courthouse. Hope to see you guys then.